Hey friend, welcome back to Everyday Energy and welcome to day super sweet 16. We're gonna be all standing up today, but we're gonna get a lot done while we're standing up. We're gonna be working on our feet, ankles, and calves. We're also gonna be doing some work for the core, for our planking power, for our hips. This one's a tiny bit spicy, like cusp spicy. Like not a full Diablo sauce packet, but maybe like 2 drops of hot. Let's get into it. Let's grab something to hold on to. You can work your way over to the wall, but your kitchen counter works great for this, the back of your couch. Anything that you can get your hands on. We're gonna start with an easy little calf raise to bring your feet under your body. Maybe you give yourself a second just to plant through your tripod, the mount of your big toe, the mount of your pinky toe, and your heel, pressing down into the ground to get yourself a nice solid base. We're gonna go calf raise, up onto your toes, pressing the floor away from you. We're gonna bend our knees, keep your ankles how they are. If you've never done something like this before, it might feel a little weird. Just try it with me, yeah? We're gonna bend our knees. Ooh, feel that stretching your toes. From here, you're gonna put your heels back down and stand up. Let's try that one more time. Up onto the toes, bend your knees, stay up on your toes. Ooh, and put your heels down. Now we're gonna go back the way we came from. Bend your knees, keep your heels planted. Then we're gonna pick up the heels, come up onto our toes. We're gonna push the toes down into the ground, stand up, straighten the legs, and we're gonna lower the heels. Let's try that one again. Bend your knees, keep your heels down, roll up onto your toes, press the floor away, straighten your knees, and down. We're gonna combo the two now. We're gonna smooth it out, take it a little more like a flow. Let's push the floor away up into a calf raise, bend your knees, plant your feet, stand it up. Now we bend our knees, pick up our heels, push the floor away, stretch out the legs, and lower. Again, press the ground away, calf raise, bend the knees, put the heels down, stand it up, bend the knees, feet are down, peel off the floor into the calf raise, push up, straighten the legs, and down. 2 more rounds just like that. Up, and bend the knees, plant the heels, stand it up, bend your knees, pick up your heels, straighten your legs, and lower. Last time, take it like a dance. Up, bend your knees over your toes, put your heels down, stand it up. We bend the knees, we let the heels peel off, we press the floor away and lower. Let's take a little step back. Baby stretch for the right calf, for the right Achilles, pushing down through the heel. Maybe the heel touches the floor, maybe it doesn't, but it's moving towards the floor, yeah? Always to, always towards, sometimes through. Any movement, even one where you feel like you can quote unquote do the whole thing, it's a movement, right? We're not stopping. Ooh, good, let's let it go, shake up that foot. And switch to the other side, stepping back. Dropping the heel down. You can play with how bent you would like that knee on the foot that we're stretching. And let it go, shake it out. Maybe you take a moment here and roll out your wrists. We're going to be relying on our support here, so we will be putting some pressure down into our hands. Take as many breaks as you like. I'm going to go hands a little further up the wall because we're going to walk our hips back to make this hinge shape, almost like you're doing a downward dog, except not on the floor. Yeah? You can walk your hands farther away from you. You can walk your hands wider apart. If you're using something down here, like the back of your couch, we're walking our hips back and out to the same effect. Yeah? Bend your knees a lot. Soften your collarbones. Soften your elbows. How are you doing? Good. I hope you're not watching me. I hope you're alone in your own little world, maybe looking at the floor. Maybe you've softly let your eyes flutter closed, but I have not stopped moving. I'm wagging my tail side to side. Feels really nice on my spine. Maybe you'd like to do the same. Maybe you'd like to nod your head yes, or shake your head no. Maybe you'd like to go for a little pelvic tilt forward and back, like a cat-cow. Maybe that feels better today. Good, my friends. Wherever you are, you've got a few more seconds here to wiggle around. You got all the time you want. You don't have to follow along with me, but I'm going somewhere else. A secret third thing. All right, I'm gonna take my right hand and I'm gonna walk it over towards my left hand. I'm gonna sit back in my hips, but I'm going to allow my shoulders to twist over towards the right. Basically just allowing my body to reach into that space I've opened up. Now we're introducing this little bit of a side bend, this banana bend. A little more room for us to let gravity take over. Add a little twist, favor one side right now. And on your next exhale, let's bring it back to the center. You can hang here one more time, or maybe you stand up, shake it out, give yourself a little break. Now I'm gonna walk my left hand over towards my right, and I'm gonna sit over to the other side. In our cacophony of street noise, I don't think we've had street music yet in this series. That's very exciting. That's staying in. Breathing into the side body. Sometimes that's like a really annoyingly obscure cue. So you can just think about breathing out of your armpit. Sometimes that works better. Good, my friend. See if you can use the next few moments here to soften a little bit more. And on your exhale, stand up. Let it go. Again, maybe you come back to the center and hang out one more time. My shoulders would like a little break. So I'm gonna let it go, stand up tall. We're gonna stay over by the wall there. You're gonna want something to hold on to. Instead of being in a steep hinge, I'm gonna come up into a kind of plank. I'm gonna hold on at about shoulder height, or you can go lower. Again, if you're at your kitchen counter, that actually works better here than the wall, but you know, I don't have a kitchen here. I'm gonna walk my feet out just a little bit away. So I am leaning into this plank a little bit. I'm using my arms to support me, but that's totally adjustable. You can be up a little more, you can be back more if you really want some planking action, as long as you've got some space to move in between here, right? I'm gonna plant through my left foot. I'm gonna drive my right knee up. I'm gonna try to leave everything else undisturbed. Like I'm planking, like I'm doing a mountain climber. Put that right foot down. Again, pick it up. And down. This is very simple, and we're gonna move slowly. So the next time you pick that foot up, I want you to feel how the rest of your body responds. Our responsibility for this movement shifts around. Here we go, pick it up. And down. And again, up. And down. Good, see if you can leave your back pockets undisturbed. That is deceptively tricky. If this is still interesting to you, you can stay here. If you'd like a little more, I'm gonna take that right knee on a little carousel up, out and around to the side and down. Again, trying to keep my back pocket undisturbed, as if I had something leaning against my back, maybe a buddy or another wall, and I'm not gonna let that move. Circling in the hip. Round and about. We'll go for 3 and 2 and 1, and let it go. If you need a break for your upper body, stand up, shake it out. Otherwise, we're coming back to this plank position. This is going to be a little different this time. I want you to really think about those back pockets heavy, something leaning on you for resistance. I'm going to bring my knee in again. This time I'm going to kick back behind myself, leaving my back pockets undisturbed. Trying to extend through my hip, trying to kick back. Ooh, trying not to let my tailbone sail back behind me, yeah? Bring that knee in and slide, kick it back. Maybe you'd like to point your toes down to the floor, brushing along the floor as you go. But we're trying to keep the front pockets square to whatever you're holding on to, facing in front of you. We're trying to keep the spine long. Crown through tail. Wow, we're planking here. Ooh. Pushing through that kick back. Feeling the way maybe your glute starts to squeeze to make that extension happen without actually moving your hips at all. Oh, good. That's a lot of work for something really small and silly, right? I'm going 2 more on this side. And last one. And shake it out, let it go. The leg that was not moving, your supporting leg, your non-working leg, well, that's kind of a misnomer because you're probably feeling some heat build up. That leg is working to stabilize us. That's often what we forget. The work of the legs is not just kicking and pushing and squatting. That work is also holding us steady so we can do the rest of our life. Yeah, so if you're feeling heat build up and we're about to work on that side, maybe give yourself a little extra break, or maybe just go in knowing that that's part of the package deal. Cool? Back to our little planky position. We're gonna start with that knee drive. Maybe you'd like to take a more extreme angle in your plank. Maybe you'd like to walk it up a little closer to the wall. Maybe you'd like to switch to forearms. Yeah, this has been a lot of time on our hands. Here we go. Driving that knee in and putting it down. You might think about your tailbone pointing down at your heels. You might think about back pockets full of rocks. Always works well for me. I don't know why I can conjure that feeling so well. It's never happened to me that I can remember. Good. See how the rest of your body, especially where your hands and feet are connecting, responds to something as simple as just picking that foot up off the floor. Can you soften your elbows and knees? Can you soften your shoulders? Can you relax your face? Can you give yourself a compliment here while we're doing something high frustration value, low glory value, but you're still doing it, you're here. And you deserve to celebrate that, yeah? Here we go. Let's start with a little circle if you like. Up, up, and around. Woo! Up, up, and around. This is like an abridged version of our hip cars. Remember those guys? Whew. Taking this as slow as you need to be specific about it. Trying to leave those back pockets heavy. Trying to soften where you can as we drag that hip up and around. You might feel this a little more in your core than maybe you suspect. This is where I remind you that we are planking after all. Okay, I'm going 2 more here and then we're moving on to our little kickback. If you'd like to move on already. Ooh, all right, I'm gonna readjust. One last little push, here we go. I'm driving my knee up and forward. I'm going to extend, pushing back, leaving my hips undisturbed. Drive it in and extend it back. Drive it in, extend it back. You might notice on me or on you that the leg is moving out to the side a little bit. Correct? That's kind of how our glute works. We are not totally forward and back, totally square. It's interesting to work around that, see if we can minimize that or maximize that. But don't let it freak you out. Just feel what's happening today. Tomorrow, we can worry about what that means, yeah? In. Pushing back, starting to feel a little bit of heat build up. Yeah. Thank you, car. I like to think every single car on Delancey Street understands what we're doing here and really wants to support. Good. I'm gonna slow it down for 2 more. Kicking back. And last one. Kicking back. And let it go. Shake it out. Get off your hands. Whew. All right. I'm gonna hold on one more time just to seal this off. You could go maybe 1 fingertip or 2, just something light so you're not putting stress down into your wrists again. We're gonna go for that little calf raise roll through that we did at the beginning. Pressing down to come up with straight legs, bend your knees over your toes, drop your heels and stand it up. Bend your knees, little squat, pick up your heels, press into your calf raise and lower. 2 more rounds just like that. Up, bending over, dropping down, standing up, bending down, rolling up, straightening tall, dropping down. Last one, enjoy it. Up, bend your knees, drop your heels, stand it up, bend it down, onto your toes, up to the sky, and lower. Thanks so much for being here today and following me through something a little bit funky. Check in later. How are your feet feeling? How are your hips feeling? How are your wrists feeling? New stuff is always going to lead to new sensations. So if you feel those new sensations, it's not an emergency, it's just information. Yeah, that's right. I'll see you tomorrow.